Hi there, my name's Kai Brooks, and our main focus today, as you can see on this first slide, is British Airways. Moving to the introduction, these are the aims I hope to cover throughout this presentation, which are explore how British Airways operates as a subsidised organisation, analyse these methods of operation from a business perspective, analyse and identify the external factors of British Airways within a macro environment, and also analyse and identify internal factors within British Airways that affect performance. Now I'll be covering a brief overview of British Airways as an organisation. British Airways is a global airline based in the United Kingdom, providing the domestic and international transportation of an estimated 37 passengers every 6 months, and a total net worth of 20.8 billion, thus being the UK's largest international scheduled airline, operating between 170 destinations within 80 different countries, providing support to the United Kingdom's economy by providing vital channels to and from the UK for trade and investment. The bullet points on this slide cover the history of British Airways, stemming all the way from 1919, when a forerunner company of today's British Airways launched the world's first daily international air service, all the way through to 2008, when the Airbus A380s and Boeing 787 Dreamliners were announced. One of British Airways' mission statements is that one destination seeks to ensure our customers fly confident that together we are acting responsibly to take care of the world we live in, which is a concise explanation of what their purpose is as an organisation. Their vision statement is, we are on a journey to create a better, more sustainable future, which is them expressing their long-term goals of bettering sustainability. Moving on, we are now looking at services and products British Airways offers. Firstly, travel classes, which are divided into economy, premium economy, business and first class. Secondly, lounges, which are also divided into business, first class and arrivals for those economy passengers. On-flight dining is also available, as well as extra baggage and holiday packages. They also offer over 170 destinations, as well as travel assistance and loyalty programs. This slide looks at the marketing mix concept of British Airways. The table represents the individual factors specific to British Airways that drives the organisation and bettering their success. A selection of marketing tools that are categorised into 4 Ps: price, product, place and promotion. Here in the product and service column, we have things like mechanical design of aircraft and interior design of aircraft. These things will contribute heavily to the experience passengers will have flying with British Airways. Therefore, it's an outstanding factor that British Airways must consider to ensure they have the best experience flying with them. In the price column, we have things like discounts and holiday and flight packages, which may present British Airways services as more affordable for those in the working class area. In the third column, purely the amount of departure and arrival destinations is enough to entice a large customer base based on the availability and accessibility of flights. Finally, within the communication and promotion section, we have advertisement, media, marketing, sponsors, branding and sales promotion, all of these of which increase the awareness of British Airways, attracting more customers and a more reliable customer base based on the information pushed towards them. All of these factors across the board add value to British Airways. This slide focuses on external factors that affect performance within British Airways. We will do this by using pest analysis. Pest analysis is a management method whereby an organisation can access major external factors that influence its operation in order to become more competitive in the market. Firstly, we'll look at political. Within the sector of international travel, managing roles must be educated on a worldwide government policy and how the policies will impact the organisation. With airlines being heavily regulated by both domestic and international governments, a vast spectrum of issues involving the operation of an organisation can stem from political change within this industry, some of which being the expansion of regulations, altered flight paths, increased taxes and increased labour costs. A recent example of political impact is the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This resulted in British Airways being unable to use Russian airspace. British Airways flight operations to Russia came to a halt, and alternative routes had to be made for flights which crossed Russian airspace. Consequently, this increased operation costs and dropped the market share value of British Airways. Economic. The fluctuation of the economy involving exchange rates, interest rates, inflation rates, and economic growth are all external factors that can impact an organisation. Managing roles must grapple with economic conditions and trends to ensure profitability and growth. For instance, exchange rates can directly impact British Airways revenue. British Airways receives income through many different currencies, meaning any fluctuation in exchange rates can impact profit margins and the organisation's financial results. Social factors may also impact an organisation's approach towards their customers. Social and cultural aspects may influence customers' preferences and expectations towards an organisation's services. Lifestyles, demographics, and market trends all play a part in depicting customers' preferences. As a global airline, cultural diversity is an external factor that British Airways must accommodate towards to ensure a satisfactory customer base. This requires British Airways to cater to these diverse needs by offering multilingual services, respecting cultural traditions, and providing international cuisine options. Technological. Within this accelerated era of technology development, new technologies and innovations are constantly in supply. The innovation of new technologies within aviation mechanics is at a constant, with technological advancements in aircraft design put in place to increase safety measures and fuel efficiency. Providing the declining state of the environment, British Airways must consider introducing technology to better sustainability and reduce the environmental impact of flights, whilst evaluating the long-term strategies involving cost of technology implementation. British Airways must ensure their investments provide the biggest benefit and favourable towards profit margins. This slide focuses on Porter's 5 forces and can be used to assess British Airways' threats. Porter's 5 forces is a model that identifies and analyses 5 competitive forces that shape every industry and help determine an industry's weaknesses and strengths. Firstly, threats of new entrants. The airline industry have very high barriers to entry. This is because it requires a very high degree of capital and resources to establish in the airline industry. Secondly, we have supplier bargaining power. Boeing is the leading supplier of aircrafts, meaning Boeing has a very dominant position in the supply of airlines. Their bargaining power is relatively high, especially within British Airways, as they have many models within their fleet. Next, we have internal competition. British Airways has a very high level of competition in the UK and internationally. This is with airlines presenting more luxurious flights as well as low-cost flights. These involve Virgin Atlantic, United Airlines, EasyJet, Ryanair, and Emirates. Next, we have threat as substitutes. Substitute products in this case are alternative means of travel. However, aircrafts offer most time-efficient travel for international travel. However, British Airways may lose out on some customer rate of domestic flights, with cars and trains being the most common substitute. Lastly, we have customer bargaining power. Some airlines do offer low-cost travelling. However, with fixed fuel prices, increased tax and inflation, and the need for customers to fly internationally, buyers have low bargaining power in this airline industry. Moving on to internal factors in British Airways. Stakeholders. A stakeholder is any type of person or organisation who can be positively or negatively impacted by a cause or action of a company. Our primary focus will be primary stakeholders, which are owners, high-level management and marketing and customers. In terms of performance, stakeholders hold a lot of power in terms of the direction the organisation is pushed. The organisation, shareholders and workers of British Airways propel the company forward by investing and executing projects to better operation, resulting in a wider profit margin and a larger customer base. Further expanding on internal factors within British Airways. Corporate social responsibilities. British Airways' outlook towards their CSR is that for more than 30 years, British Airways has supported community initiatives across the UK and around the world. We've now created the BA Better World Community Fund to deliver life-changing opportunities and aid to the communities we serve. The BA Better World initiative aims to create a better and more sustainable future, with sustainability at the heart of the business, bettering their ethical performance and operation of the company. Organisational culture. British Airways takes great pride in their country as their UK's flag carrier airline and continues to embrace the best of modern Britain. British Airlines quotes that it's a dynamic, fast-paced environment that looks to bring out the best in employees. This briefly discusses the organisation's adhocracy culture. By investing in experience training for employees, the organisation pursues its aims for employees to share a common vision rather than behavioural compliance, best ensuring the productivity within the company and a satisfactory customer base. Key resources. British Airways rely on both human and physical resources to operate. The British Airways fleet is comprised of over 2,000 aircraft, all of which are high-tech physical resources required to perform as a traditional airline, therefore accommodating towards the assured service of British Airways customers. Alternatively, key human resources such as pilots, air traffic control and aircraft maintenance are all required to perform at a high standard that allows British Airways to operate safely and professionally. To conclude this presentation, the aims of operation analysis and identifying internal and external factors of British Airways were explored. British Airways as a company highlights intricacy within the operating structure of internal organisations, requiring complex scheduling plans and sufficient use of human and physical resources that meet the requirements needed for British Airways to perform properly. The external factors explored in this presentation show the challenges that the macro environment bring to the operation of the company. Despite this, British Airways is shown to overcome these factors by adjusting and implementing innovations to their methods of operation. Based on the information gathered within my presentation, I have come to the overall conclusion that British Airways is a good organisation due to the resilience and efficiency British Airways has brought to the international travel in terms of performance. Thank you for listening.